Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Last time we were here, it hadn't quite hit Christmas. It was December 10th, 2025, which was Daniel's birthday. And basically, we showed you the video of the rally that Jennifer and her family and others had held out in Oklahoma City for Daniel's birthday, and also commemorating the 10th year of Daniel's conviction, which happened to be on his birthday, which is still just so sad to me. But anyway, so Happy New Year. Hopefully everybody had a great Christmas season holiday and a fabulous New Year's holiday. And so before we get into today's discussion, I want to say hello to Rick and Cherie. Rick, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone.
There's a movie that, oh my gosh, there's a movie that just popped into my head, a line from a movie. Oh, Christmas Vacation. I just remembered what it was. Anyway, when you did that, that's what it reminded me of. So great to see you again, Rick. I haven't spoken to Rick for quite some time. Rick's been very busy. Oh, just doing Rick stuff and jumping out of planes and, whatnot. No big deal. So, and Cherie, my soul twin sister, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. Just still trying to navigate this whole dual screen thing. For those of you who are watching, you can watch just a vertical version if you use your cell phone, or you can watch a horizontal version if you're on a PC or a laptop or a tablet, I guess, which is where I live. I don't use my cell phone for anything. So I'm still trying to figure out how commenting or making comments in the chat works. So if we can see everybody's comments in Streamyard, whether they're on their cell phone or their PC. But I don't know if my comments, if I make comments in the Streamyard chat, if that shows up on both screens or not. So we'll have to, I don't want to play with it too much because it stressed me out the first time I tried it last month. So we'll see what happens. So, okay.
Yes, it does. I just did a test in the StreamYard chat, and it's showing me saying it twice, one vertical and one regular.
Okay,
so yes, if we respond in through the StreamYard, it'll go to both.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Okay, there we go then. All right, I have both of them open in YouTube, so we'll just see how it goes. This is a work in progress for me because I've slacked for so long this last half of this year. So we can see both comments from vertical and horizontal in StreamYard. So tagging somebody is difficult in StreamYard or in StreamYard chat, but I'll try to respond to you there, and Rick and Cherie will as well. Anyway, so Cherie, we haven't really spoken very much over the last holidays for sure this fall, and Cherie's been very busy with her work. What times we have been able to chat through text, she's expressed how busy she is with work, so which is good. But as an attorney, somebody's always hurting, right, Cherie?
That's true. It's been kind of easier this last couple of weeks because not a lot happens in the courts, at least in our courts, until this time of year. So I've been able to get a lot of catching up done, and so feeling more relaxed.
Oh gosh, that's so good to hear. Cherie is very gently, yet firmly, yet lovingly pushing me, which I'm grateful for, to start making more content regularly. So, you know, the lack of content has been 100% me, not Cherie or Rick at all. So, you know, it always comes back to me and my real life stuff that I struggle with. So that's stuff for my other channel, for my Sassy Gemini channel. So, which I have only done one video on. Anyway, that's okay. But today, what we're gonna, let me just run through. I want to, because I like to do this. I have so few viewers that I can afford the time to take the time to say hello to everybody individually in chat. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you being here and having your support. And my soul twin sister, Cherie, and look who it is, Sheila Jones. It is so good to see you. I haven't been doing anything, so I've missed all of you guys, that have been following us along with us for so long. So I apologize for that. And we're going to work on getting better at that. I always say that, and then I still disappoint. And this is just Dawn, who is my soul sister, different than my soul twin sister. But Dawn, it's great to have you in the chat. It's great to see you. And, I know this is a really difficult, very busy time for you. And yet you're still taking the time to at least check in and say hello. I love you. And, my condolences on the loss of your sweet mama a few days ago. And I don't know if you caught my my ex DMs that I finally was able to get, but X has been playing games with me too. I knew I had messages in there, but I couldn't see them for some reason. And so anyway, I responded to everything you had sent me since like early last month, just on. And let's see here. Sheila says she's been on YouTube. Oh, she hasn't been on a YouTube live in a while. It's because I haven't done one mostly. But also, I thought you said you've been tied up in a new crazy case. Oh, Lord. If you get a chance, just type in the chat the name of that case, because I'm sure it's something I've seen or heard of. So I'm definitely interested in what Cherie says the same. Yeah, what new crazy case? We love crazy. So yeah, let us know what you're looking into. Oh, Carmelo Anthony. Okay. Sink. Hi, it's great to see you. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. It's funny you say that, because I followed it when it first happened for several months. Crazy case that I know is going to be, what's the word? It's high profile for sure, but it's gonna be trouble. It's just gonna be a big fat circus all the way around. I'm sure of it. So yeah, Cherie says she's heard of it but doesn't know the facts. It's pretty insane. I think it happened April. It was April of 2025, and so you definitely just look up Carmelo Anthony and get the rundown. I think sorry. Go ahead.
Is he a football or basketball player?
No, he's the athlete that stabbed the athlete from the other school at a meet in Texas.
Okay, yeah. There was a big basketball player about 10 years ago named Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse University.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No, not that Carmelo Anthony. This was a kid. He was a student.
Yeah. So definitely, we'll definitely be looking at that too, Sheila. So thank you for mentioning that as well. Sink, we are You're not being mean. I'm always a very slow starter when it comes to live streams. I don't know if you watched a video clip that I uploaded on the 31st about one of the accusers, but we're going to watch that because it's only like 1 minute and 32 seconds, and then we're going to discuss the significance of it. So hopefully you'll be able to stick around and check it all out with us. We've missed you too, Sheila, so I'm so happy to see you. People are getting arrested. The reporter on the case is getting doxxed. Yeah, it's been insane. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are going to, I'm going to show the video that I uploaded on the 31st. It's 1 minute and 32 seconds long. And we're going to discuss why we think it's significant. And then we're going to go through some of the comments on that video. And hopefully, we'll discuss some of the comments. So without further ado, as they say, let's watch this clip.
Do you recall listening to audio recorded interviews of you?
I can't remember.
Do you recall listening to audio recorded interviews of Daniel Holtzclaw?
Who is that?
I'm sorry?
No, I can't remember.
Do you recall listening to any audio recorded interviews of any victim other than yourself?
No.
Have you listened to any audio recordings of Daniel Holtzclaw?
I can't remember.
Still trying to get used to StreamYard. I need to get back in here and start practicing. Okay, so that was the small clip that I uploaded on the 31st. So for those of you who are very familiar with this case, you will understand why that clip is so significant. For those of you who aren't familiar with the case very well, I will try to put in a nutshell what this means. So Jannie Ligons was the very first individual who accused former officer Daniel Holtzclaw of a sexual assault. And, that's, to go any further than that I'm not going to do that, but I have videos on it. Previous videos. If you don't know, then you can go back and look for Jannie Ligons. I don't know if I have her stuff in a playlist yet, but you can just, type in Jannie Ligons in the search bar and you can find the videos of her. That we've done of her case. But she was the first person who accused Daniel of any sort of sexual assault. That was June 18th of 2014. This deposition was taken, I always forget, let me just pop this up here really quick. Let's see. Made the formal complaint. Okay, it was on December 14th that she sat for the deposition in the federal civil case that she and other accusers had filed. for against Daniel Holtzclaw. Against Daniel Holtzclaw and the city of Oklahoma, a couple of one of the detectives, Rocky Gregory, was included in the suit, and another cop who we've never heard very much at all about, which was so kind of based on our research and what we know about the case. It wasn't random, but for people who haven't done research or don't know very much about the case, Brian, I can't remember, he was a cop, Cherie or Rick, do you remember the name of that cop who was also being sued? Brian, I can't remember. He was a cop that was part of Jannie Ligons' initial claim on June 18th. So anyway, so from the time she made the accusation, June 14th of 2004, or June 18th, 2014, to the time, so all through the trial ended and Daniel was convicted on December 10th of 2015, sentenced in January 2016. But from June 18th, 2014 to December 14th of 2018, this woman who's probably had conversations very, very frequently, I don't know, you could say, well, several times a week, let's just say that, several times a week, had conversations about her case against Daniel, her accusations. We went through the entire, with the police report, preliminary trial, and then to the civil lawsuit. And she couldn't remember the man's name who she accused of sexually assaulting her. I don't know. I'll let Rick and Cherie jump in, and of course in the chat, comment in the chat how weird you think that is, or if you don't think it's weird.
Oh, I
I'm going to
find
read
it very
you.
weird. I refuse to believe a victim of that type of assault does not remember the name of the person. And if you notice in that clip, she started to ask who that was when they said Daniel's name, and then she looked at her attorney. And then it changed to, I don't recall.
Yeah. Yep. She absolutely looked at her attorney. And just so everybody's aware, when she glanced over to her right after she said, "Who's that?" when the attorney mentioned Daniel Holtzclaw, "Who is that?" And then she, like Rick said, just almost immediately, she was like, for me, I'm thinking, this is just me thinking, oh shit. And she glances over to her right to look at her attorney, who, we know was sitting there. And that attorney was none other than civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump. So now that goes into a whole other thing because, Benjamin Crump, everybody knows his name. If a crime occurs against a Black person in this country, Ben Crump just seems to just like drop out of the sky within hours to, make a claim that it's racial and all those things, and file a civil rights lawsuit for whoever is involved. And Daniel's case was no different. He did the same thing with Daniel's case, especially at that point, because there were, 13 accusers who had, been a part of the whole thing. So, the one thing that I didn't do that I guess I needed to do anyway was pull up the video. So yeah, so Rick, like Rick said, it's almost impossible for me as a woman, as somebody who's been through some stuff in my whole life, if you accuse somebody of doing something so heinous, and you happen to know that person's name, or you've identified a person and you know who they are, whatever the situation, like with Jannie Ligons and these other accusers, I just find it almost impossible to believe, like Rick said, that in just 4 years, you would forget the name of the man who you say sexually assaulted you. Cherie, what are your comments about that, if anything?
I I think you said it all.
Okay. I feel bad I always do that. So yeah, I mean, you guys can put it in the chat. I believe that I'm trying to find the actual video itself, so so I can go through the comments with you, because they're pretty horrible. Well, I shouldn't say they're pretty. A few of them are pretty horrible. So we'll go through those in just a second. But anybody in the chat, if you have a comment about that. Lauren says, pretty significant if you can't remember the name you accused of assault. I agree. And that, yeah, absolutely. And we're not talking, because one of the comments is going to make a comment about it, and say something about, how can you expect all these years, people 10 years, who've been murdered or whatever, can't remember the name 10 years later either. Well, we'll talk about that in that comment. But Cherie says another accuser said in her deposition that the first time she saw who they said raped me was during the trial, and that's that's Sherry Ellis. So also another huge, I might just kind of redo that one and re-upload that one too. It's in the channel, in my YouTube channel videos, so you can go find it yourself. But I don't know. I think I might go ahead and re-release that one, or re-upload that one, and re-upload the one with oh my gosh, Barnes.
Tabitha.
Yeah, thank you. With Tabitha Barnes. And those are just 3 clips from 3 different depositions for this federal civil rights suit, which, drum roll for those who don't know, Benjamin Crump and his firm, other attorneys in his firm represented other accusers, they dropped that civil lawsuit against Daniel and against everybody they were suing. They dropped it a week before they were set to go to trial on it. I could be wrong, because I don't know every case that Benjamin Crump's law firm has ever, gone to court for or sued for, but I surely never heard of any case that he's dropped a suit that he was, making claims for. I don't know. To me, that was also pretty significant, that a famous, well-known civil rights attorney in the United States dropped a civil lawsuit that he was, suing some people for. So I don't know. That's a pretty big deal to me too. Also, so I believe, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember the exact number, but I feel pretty confident that the amount that each accuser was asking for in that civil lawsuit was $75,000. Ultimately, for some reason, and these are things that go on behind the scenes that nobody gets to know about except for attorneys, for some reason, the city of Oklahoma, who had already been granted summary judgment in the civil lawsuit, they awarded the accusers some amount of money. It was, I think at the time it happened, it's been a couple of years ago now, but I think the time that it happened, an attorney friend of ours helped us do some figuring. He's a criminal defense attorney, helped us do some math. Actually, he did all the math because I can't, but because he knows, how defense works, and plea deals and things like that. He knows how those things work. He knows how settlements, are mathed out. And I believe that he had made an estimate that each accuser ended up winning, I think, like $12,000 each at the end of the suit, which the city of Oklahoma chose to award these accusers, even though they'd been granted summary judgment. Sheree, does that number sound kind of familiar to you?
It rings a bell, but I can't say for sure. I was just Googling it. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. I know I believe we did a live stream or a live stream that we were talking about we talked about it. And this attorney gave us a pretty close estimate of what he believes each accuser ended up with as an award from the city of Oklahoma, who had been previously granted summary judgment in the civil suit before it was dropped. For those of you
sorry.
No, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
AI tells me that it was a total of $129,500 to resolve the suit, and then individual payments each accuser that was still in at 7 received about $18,500.
Okay, that sounds right. And then our attorney friend, I don't want to say his name because I don't have his permission, but our attorney friend who has over 30 or 40 years of experience with this, he, kind of did the math for us and estimated that at the end of that award of $18,000 for each accuser, that they probably, each of those accusers ended up with around $12,000, which is a far cry from $75,000. And really, in the grand scheme of things, not really very much money for a settlement like this.
Oh, you know what that payment was for?
Tell us.
To keep those girls from going on the stand and putting holes in their criminal case that they had already completed. It's exactly what that was for.
Right. Well, yeah, because by the time they
Anything,
got that award,
yeah, anything they would have said on the stand in that civil suit
yeah,
could have been used in an appeal.
right, exactly, yeah.
Any of that sworn
Yeah.
testimony could have been folded into an appeal for Daniel, where his lawyers could go, "Oh yeah, but look what they said in the civil suit about it. That
Mhm.
is completely different from what they said in the criminal suit." Now they've changed their story.
Yeah.
So
Right.
pay
Exactly.
them
That
as
and
little as
both,
you can and settle
yeah,
it, and don't ever let it come back because we don't want inconsistencies on the record.
right. On the record. That's exactly right. Like you said, in a courtroom setting, in a trial setting. So also, we have no idea about any sort of NDA that may have been signed. There may or may not have been an NDA signed about the winnings of each accuser, that they signed. But other than the total amount that was awarded by the city, that's all we know. We don't know anything else, but we know that these attorneys are all paid on contingency. Um, if you win, we get 33, usually. Now our attorney friend said it was closer to 40% in a case like Daniel's, but 33%. I know I had to file not a wrongful death suit 20 years ago or so. And, there was a lot of negotiation, literally sitting around a big table, with attorneys and everything and witnesses. And, once a settlement was reached, either if we win, At that time, 20 years ago, my attorneys were going to be getting 33% of the total winnings right off the top before I ever saw a penny, and which is common. That's how a contingency works. And if we lose, then you don't owe us anything. Nobody gets anything. Those who are filing the suit don't get money, and they don't have to pay the attorneys any money. So just take that into consideration when you realize that it's Benjamin Crump that we're talking about. Benjamin Crump and his firm, and I'm only going to speak for his firm. I know that he represented Jannie Ligons for sure, but he met Jannie Ligons. He was out there on the steps of the court the day that Daniel was convicted, raising her hand like he always does, hands in the air, her and Shardarian Hill, hands in the air. And, so we know that he was working on, filing this civil lawsuit for them on behalf of them from at least the time that the verdict was read in the trial. So when you think about the years that he put in as far as work into this civil lawsuit, and then to drop it a week before trial, listen, I have my thoughts and opinions about that. Then that's all they are, is thoughts and opinions, speculation, 100%. But I'll let you guys also, consider those things for yourselves and see how you feel, if it seems logical, for any of that to happen. And like Rick said, yes, keeping the accusers from, their story silent off the record, but also possibly if they signed an NDA, again, me speculating, part of it may have been that they could not, give interviews regarding it. Because to my knowledge, there has not ever been an interview given by any of these accusers since the suit was dropped. That's not uncommon necessarily, but a lot of times, especially in a high-profile case like Daniel's was, you see people walking out of the courtroom and, talking about, the outcome or how they felt about it, agree, disagree, whatever. But because we didn't get a trial on that didn't, those interviews couldn't happen. So for any reporters or whatever to come around and asking these guys for interviews, they may have been by law not allowed to give an interview. That's, again, me speculating, because I don't know that. That's just what my brain can, think. So take that for what it's worth. Cherie, I know that's not the type of law that you practice, but I know you've done a lot of work and a lot of research outside of this case. Does that sound kind of logical to you about, with the cases that you know about?
That could be a thing, and you're right. You don't hear a lot of, or actually any real interviews since this lawsuit. So it's a good possibility.
Yeah. Again, me speculating.
And the judge even in this case even suggested that they do this. You might want to settle, because he foresaw more problems if they didn't, apparently.
Right. Yeah. Listen, someday, I don't know when, but hopefully someday, there'll be more information about some of these depositions that'll come out. I don't know. I can hope and dream and wish. You don't have to be a little girl to have hopes and dreams, right? But I would venture a guess that there's probably other, nuggets, besides the three that we have been able to share, including this one with Jannie Ligons. So it is a big deal to, I think, a lot of people. Again, if you have any comments if you have a comment about it in the chat, like Lauren said, pretty significant if you're unable to remember the name of the man you claim assaulted you. So I believe that as well.
I
So
had to
what
go
we're
grab
going to
my
do,
files. I seem to remember having an interview that I printed out from an Oklahoma City newspaper that happened after the civil trial ended.
okay.
I've got so many files now that I had to create a second folder. All my Daniel stuff is in 2 of those big green folders now.
Oh, I know you have a lot of stuff. You've, again, for those of you who aren't aware, Rick, I got to know Rick probably a little over a year ago, year and a half ago, maybe. And I can't even remember how it happened, but um, somehow in a chat, but we were both in the same chat on a different channel, talking about nothing about this case, but I'm always, dropping little comments here and there in different chats if it applies about Daniel's wrongful conviction. And somehow I got to know, Rick. I found out from Rick that he had this huge file of stuff that he has on Daniel Holtzclaw, because he had independently been researching the case for from the beginning since he learned about it. So he's got files of everything that he's printed that he could get his hands on that was publicly available. And so, yeah, definitely want to let us know if you find what you're looking for, because he also, didn't just have the files, but he was making notes and things as well. Also, there's another gentleman that from time to time is able to make it to our streams. His name is goes by Sergeant RP Games, I believe. He's also very aware of the case before I knew him, and another gentleman named Michael Stetson, also independently. And these are guys that I got to know from a different sort of content on YouTube. It was really strange. So anyway, my point is that we knew that I learned from that we were actually reaching, or that Daniel's case was actually reaching more than I thought it was. So that kind of was refreshing for me. Did you find what you were trying to get your hands on, Rick?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of the person.
Okay, I'm going to start going through these comments, and if you find it or find the name, don't hesitate to butt in, and we'll jump right on it. So I don't know, I've never done this before, so I'm going to see how it works. So this is the video that I uploaded on December 30th. So we're going to kind of go through some of the comments. Also, I pinned at the top of the comments there the website that has been created for the case, new website. So go ahead and follow that. Check out that website, for other information that you might be interested in. Okay, so we're going to start with this first comment by Blue Ridge Bike Man, it looks like. And this person says, hello. Well, I read it like, hello. I'm reading comments, you guys, so I'm not able to be seeing. I'm not in Streamyard, so I can't see any comments or anything being made in the chats. Rick, I also can't see you, so if you find that name, you just stop me. So this first comment, hello. If somebody testifies person X committed a murder 10 years ago, then 10 years later admits they cannot recall their testimony, it has zero influence upon the conviction. A witness forgetting later is not a get out of jail free card, and that also applies to Daniel Holtzclaw. Absolutely, I agree. So my response is, and I try really hard, you guys, to be respectful when I respond. I try to respond to every comment. I can't always see them, but I try to respond to all of them. I've been watching these very closely. My response to this person was, first, thanks for your comment. First, we're not talking about any witness to a murder or anything else. Jannie Ligons was the accuser, And it wasn't 10 years. The depositions were taken only 3 years after, I said 3, I think it was 4, after the conviction. Not to mention, no one was letting her forget anything. Her accusation in and of itself was a lie. That's what we believe. And because it appears you didn't watch the clip, or at least not to the end, there was zero evidence, forensic evidence, that Daniel Holtzclaw even touched her. And she made her false accusation only a few hours after the stop. And I said, I appreciate your analysis, but it doesn't fit here. And this isn't being brought to light to get out of jail free. It's just one very small example of the lies and fabrications on the entire case. And then the response was, okay, so is an accuser forgets her testimony years later after a conviction, it doesn't undermine the conviction. As you know, Ligons wasn't Holtzclaw's only Vic. And of course I had to respond to that. I said, I haven't made any claim that this one thing undermines the conviction. And yes, I know very well that Holtzclaw was accused by many different women. Just because many different women make allegations doesn't mean the accused individual is actually factually guilty. And just so you're clear, this isn't about Jannie Ligons forgetting her testimony. Not at all. The fact that she couldn't remember the name of the man she falsely accused of sexually assaulting her is the issue. I said no way. I'm not sure why I said that. 3 years after her alleged assault, BLM and her civil rights attorney, Ben Crump, said Holtzclaw's name practically daily during those few years. Again, a civil rights lawsuit that he dropped against Holtzclaw a week before the trial was set to begin. No matter how much you twist this, you can't change it. There is no reason or excuse for her forgetting the name of the man she claimed for all of those years of sexually assaulting her. I felt like this was important. Ask any victim of any sexual assault if their assaulter's name was known to her, if she ever forgot his name. And again, there was zero evidence, forensic evidence, that Daniel Holtzclaw even touched her. Isn't that something odd to you? Or are you just so close-minded that you can't recognize truth and facts when they're handed to you? Yeah, snarky. I got a little snarky, not gonna lie. Part of who I
That
am.
actually wasn't a victim. I found it. That was Lori McConnell from the DA's office that
Oh, yeah.
answered the question for a reporter.
Oh, did she? Okay. What did
Yeah.
she she say?
Just basically, it's a rock solid case. There is absolutely nothing nefarious about it,
Mm.
and it.
Is that
Judy-
when they were all standing outside after, or like the prosecution team were all standing?
No, it was it was not long after Giger gave that presentation. Apparently, a reporter got a hold of her and was asking questions about the case, and that was her statement to the reporter.
Lori McConnell, who, by the way, is one of the ADAs in District Attorney David Prater's office, who it has been proven had an affair with the judge in Daniel's case, Timothy Henderson. Is that the same Lori McConnell? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, a little more snark for me. So yeah. So thank you. Yeah, I've never seen that. I'm curious about it.
It was like in one paragraph of an article that somebody was writing about the entire case, and for some reason my brain remembered it as being one of the victims, but it wasn't.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it's still interesting though. So I'm guessing that you guys can't really see this very well on your YouTube screens. And for some reason, I don't know if that's going to help. Does that help a little bit visually? Okay, so that was the first comment that I came upon. And then somebody else said, a woman will never forget any form of harassment. And I said, it's certainly not the name of the person she claims assaulted her. Would you agree? And the person replied, respect. So let's go to this comment. By somebody named Michael Farah, it looks like. Michael Farah says, you're all in on supporting a serial predator rapist. That's wild. I'm not afraid to say the word rapist on YouTube, but whatever. I actually hate those little code words that people use. But I get it. Apparently there's some sort of censorship issue with it, but my content revolves around that. So anyway, I said, responded, hey, thanks for your comment. Tell me, what do you know about this case? I'm supporting a person who was lied about, accused of heinous crimes, which there is no evidence of him committing. What's wild is that you say that not knowing that what's wild is that you say that not knowing any, you say that, my grammar is obviously poor. You say that not knowing anything about what happened. The response to that was, and then I made a big long thing after this to counter all of these things that he's going to say here. Basically, though, he came back with, I know he was convicted by an all-white jury of his peers. True. On 18 counts. True. 8 victims. Not true. Of 14 total. Not true. I know he received 263 years in prison. Check. Because the judge found the evidence so convincing. Not true, in my opinion. Our opinion after our research and the behavior so malicious that he ran them consecutively. True. Which almost never happens. Also true. I know that his operable dash cam was, Cherie, is this the one you were telling me about when we first got started? A response? Yeah, because I haven't. Okay, yeah. He says, I know that his operable dash cam was turned off or not activated conveniently during any encounter, despite the encounters being verified. Cherie, why don't you talk about the dash cam really quick? Or
they didn't have dash cams at the time that these alleged crimes allegedly happened, but I think they did get them afterward, but they did not have them at the time.
No, they did not have dash cams in the cars at the time.
They also did not have body-worn cameras at the time. I'm not completely sure of the exact time, but I want to say it was shortly after the verdict or the conviction that they did finally get dash cams and body-worn cameras.
I wish they had them, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so when I see somebody say the operable dash cam or body-worn camera was turned on, no, there was no dash cam, so pipe down. Despite encounters being verified. So yeah, the encounters were verified through ABL and or GPS, whatever you choose to call it. In police work, ABL stands for, I think it's automatic or automated vehicle locator. I believe that's the words that it is. Same thing as GPS. Excuse me. So yeah, it was verified through GPS. That's it. Just verified through GPS. And then he goes on to say, I know there was female DNA on the inside of a zipper with a full match to a 17-year-old accuser. I know GPS data put his patrol vehicle at several of the crime scenes during the alleged now proven attacks. And then he says, and I know he is rotting in prison right where he should be. I thought, okay, listen, I know people don't like to read through long ass, YouTube comments and stuff. Mine are always, long usually. But I said, responded back just as I thought. You don't know about the facts of the case. Let me show you how I know. And I'm not going to go through all of mine, but I went through this big long TLDR thing, countering everything, that he said or claimed. So this is, Cherie just told me about this. I missed this one. I haven't seen this comment yet, but he responded, except for my irrelevant typo 1413, you've confirmed everything I said. More than a dozen accusers convicted on 18 counts, 263-year sentence. This is all, listen, none of this is, have been disputed. He's not telling me, researched facts of the case that the public doesn't already know, right? So DNA on his zipper, GPS data placing him where the accuser said he was. You also offered fringe opinions that are not shared by the judge. Like, my opinions are fringe, but his aren't.
So my opinion on what happened is only valid if the judge who tried the case agrees that my opinion is valid.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. So he says, you also offered fringe opinions that are not shared by the judge and 12 jurors. The reason for consecutive sentencing and the DNA being falsified. And regarding dash cams, you're just blatantly wrong. Officers had no BWC, but the patrol cars in OKC did, in fact, have dash cams. In fact, there is an OKC police policy from 2014 to 2015, which requires officers to verify the dash cams are operable before they start their shifts. The policy also describes how the cameras activate when the overhead lights are activated. Listen, I'm going to come back over here to Streamyard really quick because that just pissed me off. I am not blatantly wrong. Rick is not wrong. Cherie is not wrong. Everybody else who has worked on this case knows that we are not wrong about this dash cam business. Rick,
If my memory serves me correctly, and I can't remember the exact dates, that policy was written for approval because the federal funds had already been granted to Oklahoma City to equip their cars with dash cameras and their officers with body cameras. They had not taken delivery of the actual devices as of that point. They were in the pipeline, but they weren't there and installed. And
Right.
like any policy for something like that, you have to have the policy on how they're going to be used in place so that everybody knows what the policy on them is before you actually put the devices in the vehicles and people start using them.
exactly. I also believe there's some pretty well detailed information on that as well on Uncuff the Innocent, the website Uncuff the Innocent. I don't know if one of you are able to grab the link for that. I should have it in my description, but I don't. I suck at that kind of stuff. But if one of you are able to grab that link and put it in the chats for anybody interested in checking out Uncuff the Innocent.
I've got it bookmarked somewhere. Let me find it.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go ahead. This is going to take me. This is going to be a well thought out response to this whole thing about telling me I'm blatantly wrong. Listen, I'm not above. If I'm wrong about something, I will admit, show me the proof, show me the facts, and I'll admit I made a mistake, I was wrong, or whatever it might be. I know I'm not wrong about this. I know 100%, no doubt in my mind, I'm not blatantly wrong about this dash cam thing. I know, I always sweat the petty stuff. It's just who I am. So anyway, that was that was the end of that. Well, because I haven't commented yet, but that was the end of that
Well,
response. Go ahead, Rick.
the other part of that is even if the dash cams that were in the pipeline had already arrived, that was the year they were adding all of that equipment. There's no guarantee that Daniel's car would have had one because you cannot take every patrol vehicle off the street at the same time and not let them go back out until the dash cam is installed. You
Right,
have to do it
exactly.
in phases.
Yep. Not only that, Daniel's I call it a substation, but I don't think that's what it's really called. But he was in a smaller substation. You know, he wasn't part of the big downtown OKC police department. He was in a smaller substation called Spring Lake.
Oh yeah,
And
exactly, Sheila Jones. That's a great point. If that was the policy and there was a camera in that car, Giger absolutely would have brought it
yeah,
up during the trial. It never
yeah,
came up
yep,
because it
good point.
wasn't there.
Yep, 100%. Good point, Sheila. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then we started getting into some more aggressive comments. Before I say these words, well, not that I'm afraid to say them, but I'm going to read their words out loud. These are public, so anybody can go into the video comment section and read them for yourself. But I'm going to read them out loud for you. So this person, don't know is the name. It looks like. No, you don't know. Says, keep supporting a pedophile, rapist bitch. You are definitely a stupid, dumb person. Wow, that is such an intelligent comment. I just can't. I don't know how I'm going to counter this. But trying to be respectful and not be whatever this person thinks I am. I said, wow, you're calling someone you don't even know anything about a racist bitch. That's pretty typical of people who are unable to make intelligent, logical debates. Your name calling doesn't offend me, upset me, or piss me off the way I guess you hoped it would. What a sad individual you are. Because that's how I really feel. That those are just words to me. They mean nothing at all to me. So. And then, of course, we did get some positive comments, some positive feedback. Daniel Holtzclaw deserves to be let free. I didn't believe he was guilty from day one. And then I responded to that very thankfully. And then Company Mule said, I love that Daniel is rotting in prison with some laughing emojis. So I said, you seem like someone who knows about this case. Why do you love that an innocent man is rotting in prison? Then here comes the response. I love that this evil pig can't abuse and destroy any more lives. I love that racist cunts are up in arms because they see no value in Black people's lives and can't see how anyone cares about Black people anyway. Now, let me just say, I just read out I had said that is now the 5th time in my entire life I've ever said that word, but I'm putting it out there the way it was written. I'm not offended by the word. I don't even know what that really is outside of, Scottish and Irish, words that they use on a regular basis. But it doesn't offend me. And then he goes on to say, I love that there's one less tyrant pig on the streets. I revisit the case for hope. It truly brings me joy knowing he's being held accountable. He is kind of the poster boy for all the racist pigs that get away with abusing marginalized people. I mean,
Wow, there are so many woke and DEI terms that have been posted in that comment that, yeah.
well, I mean, and just the guy's name, or person's name. So I responded to that with, such nice language. I'm not surprised. Racist is your favorite go-to when you can't make intelligent, logical arguments and you've only listened to the side of the story you choose to believe. Your words don't upset or offend me. I know who I am and what I believe in, and so does my black baby brother, because I really do have a baby brother who's black. So it's so when people call me racist, that's just kind of laughable to me. I mean, I suppose I could still be, have a black brother and still be racist, but my brother and I are very, very close. So anyway, so I like to toss that in every now and
You
then when
know,
someone calls me racist.
people that go to that, this is when they tell me that to my face, this is what I always tell them. I have assisted in surgery on black people, white people, American Indian people, Indian people, Orientals, and every shade combination thereof. You know what? They all bled red and all their organs were in the same place when we performed surgery on them.
Yeah, that's a
They're
good response.
just people.
Yeah.
They're just people.
Yeah, just like the rest of us, we're all just human beings. Yeah, so but somebody like this is just never going to be able to see anything different, and that's their life and their I don't know, unhappiness, their misery. I don't know, but
It's schooled into them. You were talking
yeah.
about Benjamin Crump. Do you know who his wife is?
No, I don't think I do.
His wife runs a foundation that's called an educational foundation where she helps get all this anti-racism and DEI stuff into these schools.
Oh,
She is
she wouldn't be my
supposedly an
friend.
educator. She worked as an assistant principal at one point in time before she started her foundation.
I did not know that.
So,
Sheree, were you aware of that?
yeah, she gets the kids educated that all white people are bad, or anybody who doesn't agree with you is bad, and then her husband goes and sues those people.
No,
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you for that, Rick. Yeah, that's interesting to know. So I finished this comment with this person after I talked about my black brother. It truly brings me joy that you live in a world of your own hateful mindset that will never allow you to find true peace and happiness. And I said, actually, it doesn't bring me joy. It only causes me to realize how pathetic people like you are. That's pitiful, but you still have time to repent for your hateful heart. Listen, it's just a hateful heart and soul. And I know that, my faith and my belief in God, just not that I don't have those kinds of feelings in my heart and soul at times for different people or different situations, but I know what that kind of hatred has done to me in the past. It was nearly destroyed me for several years of my life until I had to realize that it wasn't the person who had wronged me that was causing me the pain and the misery that I was feeling in my life. It was the hate that I harbored for it. So I think I already read that comment. Yeah. And then then another comment from somebody else said, seems like you are playing on the stupidity of a handful of viewers who are gullible. So just so you guys who are watching and who might watch this later on replay, just so you guys know, you all are gullible. So if you watched the minute and 32, well, if you watched it because we played it at the beginning, but if you watch this and you believed what the video shows, your own eyes and your own ears, you are gullible. Just so you know that. So who are gullible enough to believe this video, and 13 women who were all complete strangers lied to put Holtzclaw in prison. They did. They just did. They freaking lied. There's no other way to say that. Just trying to get some clicks and make some money. Cherie, how much money has been made on this channel?
Less than zero because of the, the expenses.
Yeah.
And running
Yeah.
it.
There has been no money made. We are not, well, I think I'll address that in the comment that I made back to him, but yeah, let's go finish.
Yeah, this show has actually cost me money, and I came into it late.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for my appearances on here, but I'm the one that buys the paper and the ink for the printer to print out all the information that we go over on this channel.
Yep.
I actually
Exactly.
am paying to be on this channel.
Yes, you are. You are. There are others who are as well. And those of you who are paid members, we thank you with all the gratitude that I can get from my heart. But that money doesn't, I mean, I guess it's my own fault, but we're not monetized in the sense that, we run ads or anything where the money is made. Even that is very, very, YouTube takes at least 30% of the money collected from ads, super chats and things like that. So those who are members, I don't create enough content. That's my fault for that to even show up in my earnings that way in this channel. So so I responded, I'm not playing on anything. I've been covering this case for over 5 years, plus legal documents, police reports, preliminary and trial testimonies. I've covered the lack of evidence and the faulty false DNA used against Holtzclaw. So I'm not playing on anything by anyone else. I'm using my own deep dive research. Yes, all of the accusers lied at the highly coached direction of the corrupt detectives and prosecutors. And just so you know, I don't make any money on any clicks and views, my channel and blah, blah, blah. I've already said. So I just thought, that's just, I don't know why some of these are posting twice, and I don't know why that happens. That's the same comment. And then this person, Zazu, it looks like, said, this means nothing. She is just one of the victims. That guy was obviously super corrupted, but he got the sentence, which would be in any normal country, 10 or 20 times less prison time. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's, but it does mean something. It means a lot. She couldn't remember the name of the man who she claims sexually assaulted her 4 years earlier. So he wasn't corrupted.
Who said it in the chat earlier? Cherie, was it you that said you remembered one of the supposed victims saying the first time she saw him was during the trial?
Yeah, Sherry Ellis.
Yeah.
Rhonda has a video on that too.
Yeah. There's a video. Yeah, it's if you just look up videos, it's its own video. There's one from Sherry Ellis and one from Tabitha Barnes, from their depositions. Cherie, I don't know if you can get your hands on either of those quickly. And just post the links. I mean, don't worry about it if you can't. But yeah, it means a lot. Like I said to the one guy earlier, the one person earlier in the comment, it doesn't mean that this should overturn the conviction. It just means that, it just means what you guys all know that it means. So it does mean something.
And it's one of many, many, many problems with the case.
Yep. And then, of course, there were the rest of them were very nice, kind, respectful, supportive comments from others that we know as well. Anthony D. Cherie and I know Anthony D. from a different
Yeah,
case.
I recognize that name too.
I didn't, well, because YouTube did its whatever funky business with, people's YouTube names, I didn't recognize it at first. And then when I saw Daniel, Stephen, and Brendan, I was like, okay, now I know who that is. Take away those numbers, I know exactly who it is. But the rest of the comments were all very respectful and supportive and logical and reasonable, comments. So anyway, those were just some of you could say I was sensationalizing it, whatever. I don't really care. But I just wanted to show, for anybody who hasn't seen the case, or doesn't know very much about the case or whatever, that it's really hard to get people to support a former cop. So, yeah, that's what's throwing out the name. Yeah, it's all the doggone numbers, and mine didn't change. I think the only thing that YouTube did to my name was just combined Just Rhonda into one word. There's no numbers or anything behind it, but
Yeah, I need to get into the YouTube dashboard. I hadn't bothered to do it since they started doing that. Supposedly, there's a setting in the dashboard where we can go in and make it not do that and just use the
oh,
nicknames that people used to have.
really? Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Sheila, I know who you were. I knew immediately who you were, even without your last name that you just typed in there. We know who you are. So, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, Rick. Do I have you as a manager in
Yeah, you
YouTube?
do.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Oh,
do.
that
You
would be
made me a
awesome.
manager at the same time you made me a mod.
Okay. In Just Rhonda or in Sassy Gemini?
And just Rhonda.
Okay, perfect.
I
Great.
don't
Yeah, if you can,
think I don't think I'm a manager for your Sassy Gemini.
I don't think I have anyone. I don't think I think it's just me. And like I said, I've only done one video. So, anyway, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you guys, some idea of how difficult it is to get support for, an officer who gets accused of something falsely, um, and well,
Well, this
wrongfully
case
convicted.
involves an officer, and over the years, we have seen a number of officers of all colors be wrongfully accused of something, but it's it's more than just police officers. I mean, in my lifetime, I would need a calculator to add up the number of defendants that ended up being absolutely innocent that were falsely accused, but because the media got hold of it,
Yep,
everybody believed they did it, even though they didn't.
right. And even though there's evidence to prove that they didn't,
hmm Richard
I mean,
Glossip is another one that we do that
yeah,
uh, was the same way.
yep, yeah. We have content about Richard Glossop's wrongful conviction. Those who remember the Richard Glossop case, the Supreme Court shockingly listened to his case, and they threw out the death sentence and basically kind of told Oklahoma City to go back to trial because they didn't come right out and say that there was that they had created Brady violations. If I don't know, I haven't read that bench slap.
I'd have to go back and reread the opinion where they overturned it and sent it back. But yeah, it was pretty much the legalese version of grabbing him by the throat, slapping him a couple of times, and saying you're an idiot.
Yeah, yeah. Kurt, I don't think you watch Kurt, Rick. Uncivil law.
Yeah,
He
I
read that
watch him.
opinion. Yeah,
I
he
watch
read
him.
that opinion when it came down.
Yep.
And Cherie listened to it a little bit later, I think, and she got the biggest kick out of Kurt, saying on his live stream when he read that opinion or that ruling, that the Supreme Court just bench slapped him.
Yeah, I
So,
do watch Kurt, and I was actually watching that when he was doing it live.
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I was too. I was like, he had talked about Richard Glossop's case sometime earlier or something. I don't remember how it came up, but he used to do Supreme Court reading decisions and stuff on Fridays. And I don't remember how it happened, but I asked him to read that decision by the Supreme Court. SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States is what I'm not talking about Oklahoma Supreme Court. And he read that, and I was like, oh, thank you for, and people in his chat at the time were like, they didn't know anything about Richard Glossop's case either. And that's a man who's been on death row since 1998 or 89. I can't
Didn't he
remember.
actually have 2 or 3 dates set
Yeah.
at one point?
He was strapped to a gurney.
Yeah.
2 or 3 different times. He's had 3 last meals that I can recall. Three last meals. Richard Glossop has.
He had
now
read-
he is.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This isn't about Richard Glossop, so finish.
Well, I was just going to say, you can find his 4-part documentary. It's old now, but still relevant. But there's a 4-part documentary for Richard Glossop's case in Amazon called "Killing Richard Glossop."
Good. I have watched it. It's very, very good. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Really good.
Worth it.
I was going to say Kurt read, I don't watch him all the time, but he read another case from Oklahoma that was like 2001 or something that was just horrific. I think it was the Supreme Court that bench slapped them on that case as well.
On that one too. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember the name. It was the wife who murdered for hire. She had her husband murdered. Right. But there was something that, the Supreme Court did throw down on that one too, even though she was guilty.
They weren't basing it. Yeah, they weren't basing it on evidence. They were basing it on, because she's sleeping around, kind of slut shaming or whatever, that didn't really talk about the facts. It was.
Yeah, talking about the clothing she was wearing and the lingerie and her thong pants. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one.
And even though she was guilty, the way that the guards and people's testimony who they were using at trial was all derogatory, and anyway, that's also another interest. There are a lot of horrible cases from Oklahoma City. I have a few different videos way back in the day that where we've covered some wrongful convictions in Oklahoma City, and we have 9 or 10 chapters of a 12-chapter book in our Discord that I read and recorded. If you want to, go and listen to me trying to be a narrator, because I sucked at it at the time. It was good for the time, but I look back at it now. I listen to it, and I'm like, oh wow, I know a lot more now. I'm a lot better. I've learned a lot more. So anyway. But anyway, that was a book called Death
and Justice.
Death and Justice. Yeah, Death and Justice. And it talks about the Oklahoma killing machine, because Oklahoma, like Texas and I think it's Mississippi or Missouri, they have first of all a lot of wrongful convictions, but a lot of death penalty cases that have just been proven to be false, false accusations and convictions, and innocent men have died because of places like Oklahoma City. There is currently, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but there's currently a case. I tweeted about it several times. Look up. Oh my gosh, his name's going to slip my mind. I might have put something in our Discord about it. I can't even remember if I did that, but there is a Jesse Mack Butler, I think it is, in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think that's the name.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you guys, this is a talk about heinous, horrible crimes. This guy was a teenager, I guess, at the time, from Stillwater, Oklahoma. He sexually assaulted, raped, strangled, nearly killed one of his girlfriend at one time. And the worst part about this case was that he ended up getting, one of the what they call sweetheart deals. He was tried as a youthful offender, and he was supposed to be tried as an adult, but he was given a youthful offender sentence. No prison time, no jail time, just home monitoring with GPS, counseling, community service, things like this, that, and the other. And he raped, sexually assaulted, and nearly killed one of his girlfriends. And he got the youthful offender sentence. And it is disgusting. More details have come out. You can find a lot of it on Law and Crime. News Nation, Ashley Banfield has covered it on News Nation. It's a horrible case. Jesse Mack Butler is his name.
Well, they did the same thing with Ted Kennedy ended up testifying at his trial. It was a cold case, and they ended up charging with one of the Kennedys with it, one of the newer generation Kennedys. And they ended the guy at the time that he was charged was like 36, 37-year-old, the Kennedy. And they tried it in juvenile court because the offense happened when he was supposedly a juvenile. And I'm like, what was you?
Is that Martha Moxley? Is that
yes. Yep, that's who it is. And Mark Furman wrote a book about that case as well. I haven't read it yet, but yeah. So, I remember that happening, and I remember they finally, indicted and arrested him years later. And because he was a juvenile when the crime happened. As an adult man, he was tried as a youth. It's just, not to mention, in my opinion, if a teenage boy, 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, commits these kinds of horrible, horrific crimes, most youthful minds don't think those ways. And I'm not saying that only adults should be thinking about committing those kinds of, I'm not saying that at all, but it's just kind of a weird thing that, I did a presentation in college about a case. I talked to Shuri about it because it happened upstate New York. The guy's name was Eric Smith, was 12 or 13 years old, and he killed a little 4-year-old boy. I can't remember the names of the little towns, but they were small little towns upstate New York. And he served time in Dannemora, Cherie.
There is a Dannemora prison in New York. I don't know if that's where he was. But.
Yeah, it was that one. And anyway, he started coming up for parole. And every 2 years he would go before the parole board. He would get denied, but he was released about 5 years ago. He was in his 30s by this time, and Sorry, if a 12 or a 13-year-old is thinking, I don't give a shit what they do in prison to rehabilitate themselves. You kill a 4-year-old little boy, and he didn't just kill this little boy. The details that came out about that case were horrific. What was
Yeah,
done to that little boy,
it was a horrible case.
Yeah, Roby was his first name. I can't remember his last name, the little boy. But hey there, how are you, my beautiful sister? Can't we all just get along? Hi, Jennifer. Took me about 3 or 4 weeks to realize who that was. When the names all changed.
Did
But
you
thank you
hear
for being
about
here.
the recent federal court ruling in that wrongful conviction in Michigan?
What? No, no.
The guy that was wrongfully convicted sued the state of Michigan and the police department and DA's office that convicted him and got awarded, I want to say it was like $23 million or $25 million, something like that, and got paid off. And then somebody, I can't remember if it was the state attorney's office or the police department, filed an appeal on something to do with the case, and he's now been ordered to return $1 million of what he was awarded by the jury. He was
Oh my God.
overpaid by the jury.
Oh my God. That's just blah. I don't think there's any amount of money, like when Daniel is finally overcomes this and is finally proven to be, innocent and is released, because I believe that it's going to happen. Um, uh, he's only eligible. Oklahoma has a cap on what a victim of wrongful conviction can be paid. Something makes me think it's either 75,000 or 175,000. I realize that's $100,000 difference. I get it. I know, but regardless, even if it is 175,000, that is not enough for somebody who's been wrongfully convicted and spent, any amount of time, behind bars for something they didn't do. But
Oh yeah,
Oklahoma
the guy
has
in
a cap.
Michigan wasn't just in there for a short period of time. He was in there for like 16 years.
Yeah. Cherie, what about also the case that you introduced me to? I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a criminal defense attorney now, who was accused at the age, I think, of 16 of killing a cheerleader at his high school. And he was convicted and sent to prison, spent, I don't remember how many years in prison for this crime. And evidence had been shown that he was not guilty of the crime. And he was finally released. I don't know what his wrongful conviction award was. I don't remember. But he went on to become a criminal defense attorney. I'm yabbering away, and I know Cherie knows more of the story than I do.
And it's kind of escaping. There is one whose name is Jeffrey Deskovic, and he was, I can't remember if it was a cheerleader, but he was convicted of killing somebody and eventually got released and got exonerated and is now a defense attorney. And then there's also, what's his name?
David. There's a David.
Oh.
No, okay.
Ringing a bell right now.
I know Deskovic, who you're talking about. I remember that vaguely. God, maybe that's who it is. I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking too hard. Basically, like Sheila says, the system is broken. The system is just broken. And not only is it broken, but there is so much corruption. And I guess that's I guess that's why it's broken. But man, I think about all these wrongful conviction cases, and particularly the ones that we cover. And I think, how do we ever fix it? How can we ever fix it? And the only answer I could come up with is we have to be able to start holding accountable the prosecutors and judges, I guess, too, in Daniel's case.
What Dean
You know,
Strang said was keep talking about it. So at least
Yep,
that's
keep
something
talking.
we can do and draw attention to it, because I'm still astounded. I keep learning about new cases constantly, you know, and just appalled at how corrupt the
Well,
law enforcement and stuff is.
the problem with our legal system, and there's a lot of problems with it, is first of all, it's based off of English common law from before we were a separate country. You know, so there's a lot of stuff that and Sri, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of principles in law that come from English common law that we have never actually written down and codified in the United States. English common law gets referred to all the time by lawyers I hear on their podcasts.
Yeah, and there's that, and the fact that the state, it's usually the state, just completely manipulates it to get their own, you know, to get what they want. That's what really astounds me.
And it's rarely, from what I've seen in the last 20 years, it's rarely, what they want is rarely justice.
No, they want numbers. That's how they move up.
Yeah. Yep. And I just, the egotistical arrogance in, you know, many prosecutors, not all. I mean, I know there's good prosecutors. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The man who prosecuted my brothers, he was a good prosecutor, and, you know, he got the convictions because my brothers were guilty, you know, so and he was a good man. Yeah, you know, but I feel like a lot of attorneys, and the name's going to escape I have a horrible memory. The book, something about injustice or something, written by a former prosecutor who stepped away from the state office and became a criminal defense attorney. He even says in his book that, you know, he was shocked to learn and really disappointed in himself that he had become a part of that machine of not looking for justice, but looking for money and, you know, higher conviction rates. Yeah.
That's Mark Godsey, and it's Blind Injustice.
Yep, Blind Injustice by Mark Godsey. Listen, that is a fabulous book. If you haven't read it, or definitely check it out, because it's a really, really good book. Mose, how the heck are you, brother? Oh my goodness, it's been so long since we've seen you. It is so great to see you. I hope that you and your wife are doing well, and you know, surviving that eastern area weather and all of that stuff. And please tell your wife that we said hello. So happy to see you. Excuse me. I have this nasty throat thing going on. Anyway, so yeah, we just there's so much of it. It just blew my mind when I realized that you know, there were so many more wrongful convictions out there than what people are talking about. And it's just disappointing, terrifyingly frightening, because it could be, you know, I know this is now pretty much cliche, but any one of us at any given time could be wrongfully accused and wrongfully convicted of any crime anywhere. So, you know, it's just, it comes down to knowing your rights, you know, being aware, self-aware, aware of your surroundings, you know, and just keeping your constitutional rights in mind at all times, which, you know, we
Investigating,
have to do.
yes,
What's that?
I just said investigating who we elect, which is easier said than done, you know, and some to find out what you really need to know. At least it has been for me, you know.
Right. Yeah. Mose, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope that whatever is happening or whatever's going on with your health or whatever is, you know, my prayers with you and Pam. I'm so sorry. Yeah, notifications with YouTube are a big clusterfuck these days. Lately, it's been really frustrating and irritating, you know, at the lack of proper notifications and whatnot. So, but you know, my
one of
prayers
the
are with
things
you.
YouTube has done, it used to be if you had all notifications checked on the little notification bell, the bell turned black.
Oh,
Now it doesn't. You only see if they're turned on if you actually click on the little drop menu thing by the bell and check to see what
Oh.
the check mark is by. So they go through and they turn off notifications for channels that people belong to, and you actually can't tell if you still get them or not unless you hit the little upside down caret for the drop down menu for notifications.
right. Or if you know that something has been scheduled and you come upon it by accident and you hit the notify me button. Yeah. More here. Great to see you. I'm so happy to see you in chat and to see you, you know, with your hand waving hello. And it's great to see you. Thank you. You've been on, are you saying on TikTok? I don't watch TikTok. I don't even have the TikTok app anymore. I see TikToks that other people, you know, from, you know, like when I watch a video and they show a TikTok in it, but, you know, I don't really pay attention to TikTok, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why. I have a hard enough time just keeping up with YouTube, you guys.
Yeah, Jonah,
Jonah,
it's frustrating. Much of our legal framework comes from a document that has never actually been codified in our country. I mean, and I don't know if Sharia has heard this or how many people have heard it. Have you heard the latest from England under their common law principles?
oh, no, I'm scared.
Except for a very limited number of very serious crimes, the Justice Minister in England has now declared that citizens no longer have the right to a jury by trial.
Oh my gosh.
Anything
gosh.
under a certain prison sentence, you're not allowed to have a jury anymore, only a magistrate judge.
I hadn't heard that. No, that's
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
came out
either.
about a month ago. Came out about a month ago. They've taken away jury trials in England except for a very limited type of case.
Wow. That's, well, man. England, UK, man, what the hell? It's just, oh, it's,
Well, that should scare every American just because of the simple fact that a lot of our legal precedent and principles are based on English common law.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Scary. Very, very scary. Mose, you know what? I miss those voice calls in Discord back in the day. I loved hearing your true self and your political commentary, and nothing that you or Pam have ever said has ever, you know, made me think any type of way. You know, I try not to let those kinds of things get in the way of friendships and things like that. So, I haven't done any content, Mose, except for one video I did. a few weeks after Charlie Kirk was killed. I did a video on my second channel, Sassy Gemini, and I just talked about how that affected me and my family, and because I live here, where it took place and everything. But that is a channel where it's going to be a potpourri of anything that political, if you want, or whatever I might just go on and randomly discuss. I don't do any political conversations here in this channel. I try to keep that away from Daniel's case as much as possible. But I should probably start doing more on my Sassy Gemini channel and use it for what I intended it for. So yes, I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jennifer, after I looked a little bit more into the vertical and horizontal modes, I realized that I had more views on the mobile version than I did on the PC version. And the two views combined were pretty significant for any of our videos. So I'm just going to try it out for a little bit longer. I did put a poll in on the channel, I don't know, a little while back, asking if people preferred one over the other, and it was there weren't really a lot of responses, but there was really no preference either way from those who did respond. I thought, it's okay if if it helps get more views for the case, then that's what that's what works. That's what I want to do.
Wait, what? I just realized who you were addressing that to. Kat is the Playboy bunny? That's Jennifer?
Yes.
I've never seen her with that nickname. I didn't know that was her.
She started using it, as far as I can remember, about a month or 6 weeks ago, and it took me weeks to figure it out as well. Like in Andrew's chat, I kept seeing people saying, "Oh, hi Pam, hi back to Pam Mose." I kept seeing that big long name, but I wasn't familiar with it. But then I kept seeing people referring to Jennifer, and I'm like, Jennifer is not in this chat. What do you guys keep saying, Jennifer? And then I realized Kat gave it away. I was like, oh.
I didn't know that was her. You said
Yeah.
Jennifer, and then I saw the little highlight thing in the StreamYard comments scroll go by, and I'm like, wait a minute. That says Kat, not Jennifer.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I told her when I finally realized it that day, I tagged her, I said, you're going to have to start warning me when you come into the chat, because I can't remember that that's you. I know. Talk about weird. Jeez. Yeah, it was funny. I'm glad it wasn't just me. Oh, God, that's so funny. But yeah.
Yeah, after the stream, I'll dig into the dashboard and see if I can find that setting to turn that nonsense off.
Remind me what the nonsense was again. I've already forgotten.
YouTube changing everybody's nicknames or
changing
everybody's
everybody's
names instead of using their preferred nickname.
Yeah.
Supposedly, there's a place in the dashboard to be able to stop it from doing that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you can find that, that's awesome. I would love, for you to be able to find that little hack. And I'm sure listen, I don't even want to go into my weird theories about, why YouTube did it. I don't buy their explanation. It didn't make any sense, but whatever. For whatever reason, they, yeah, anyway. So, but, wow. So that was what we wanted to cover today. Was we wanted to break down that little video clip, explain why we believe that it's very significant that she couldn't remember, the man that she's accused for the last 4 years of assaulting her. She couldn't remember his name and why that was a big deal, how it was a big deal. Again, we weren't looking to overturn the case by that or anything. Just just interesting little nuggets that pop up that we feel like are important for people to know. And then of course I wanted to read those comments out loud to you, the ones calling me all the nice see you next Tuesday names and racist bitch names, things like that. Just
About time
kind of
for a
give.
third green folder.
Yeah, I think so. That's Rick's own research that he's done on this case before he even knew Cherie and I. So yeah, Rick's got his hand on the pulse of it. Is more so, I think, obviously, in some cases than we do, because I didn't know anything about that very brief comment by Lori McConnell. So yeah, we let's see. Jennifer says, very significant, and I remember all of my attackers forever. Yeah, I just felt like that was such a ignorant comment from somebody who, and then he compared it to murder. First of all, if somebody's
I
been
have
murdered,
heard a lot of victims in the emergency room through my medical career being interviewed by detectives. And when the detectives ask them, can you describe the person, the 99.99% of the times, the first words out of their mouth are, I will never forget him.
yeah, yep. I mean, I haven't been in the emergency room like you, but I've heard that a lot myself from victims of any crime, really. But yeah,
Every now and then you get one that says, no, I refuse to look at his face, or no, because they had a mask on.
right.
But
Some disguise.
99.99% of the time, their response is, I will never forget him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just illogical to think that in and I'll just keep it relevant to the Daniels case. It's just illogical to think that any of these women would not remember anything about. Now, to be fair, we also believe that these accusers were all, well, we know they were all approached, no matter how many people want to say that they came forward. There were a couple of, I guess you could claim came forward, but those were only after they'd seen reports in the media about it, things like that. But all of these
Well, and
women,
there was at least one Oklahoma City TV station, I can't remember which one it was when this all started, that actually put out as part of the story they aired, police are asking for help for more victims to come forward.
yep, you're
The
right.
detectives
Yeah,
advertised on the news for more victims to come forward.
to come forward. Yep, they sure did. Um, and what's disgusting about that, nobody will ever convince me unless Daniel says it to me from his own, voice. There is every bit of evidence and proof to me that all of these women were approached and coached and guided and told where they were. None of these women remembered where they were or the date that they were
Yeah.
allegedly assaulted by Daniel.
Well,
They had to be reminded.
who's Rocky the Squirrel, the idiot woman
Ro-
detective?
Oh, that's Kim Davis. Kim
Kim
Davis is the
Davis.
woman.
Kim Davis actually went to one of the so-called victims when she contacted her and went, look, we know it happened. We already know who did it.
Yep, Sherry Ellis. That's on, Sherry Ellis. That's on the video. I think Cherie posted that deposition video. It's 8 minutes long. Yeah, she says that in the very beginning.
Sherry Ellis didn't come to them. They went to her and told them that they knew it had happened and they knew who did it.
Yep. And then Sherry Ellis, as we all know, I encourage you guys to find that video as well. That it's a little over 8 minutes long, and it ends with a clips from Sherry Ellis's civil rights or civil lawsuit deposition, claiming that she had never seen him before, and that the man who attacked her, the cop that attacked her, was a short black man. And we are going to discuss that in the next live stream, and kind of give you some information. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I want to keep it all. I mean, some of you who are really familiar with the case and been around and watching us a long time, you already know. But we're going to discuss a couple of interesting things surrounding police officers and prostitutes and things like that.
Yeah.
That happened.
Oh,
in
well,
OKC.
and also because one of those idiots in the comments brought up DNA, we did, I can't remember how long the video went. It was a good 3 hours. It's
It
a
was
long
it was
video.
several
I will
hours.
warn you. One of my degrees is in molecular biology, and I went through and explained exactly what the expert defense witnesses who wrote an amicus brief for an appeal were saying and what it all meant. But I
Yeah.
did it in language that people in general can understand. In fact, as I understand it from people that have talked to me that have seen it, apparently I made some very interesting facial expressions in that video.
Rick, I can always tell. I can be talking and saying something and looking at you going, oh, I need to stop. Rick's got something to say just by the look on your face. So yeah, you're very expressive for sure.
If you're wanting to try to understand the DNA stuff that was referenced a little bit more, go watch that video. I warn you, it's a long one, but go watch that video.
Yeah, take it in doses, take it in small, it's definitely very, very, very informative. I also encourage you to find that video and watch it. Yeah, because it's extremely good. The amicus brief of the 6 scientific experts was completely blown off by the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, and they wouldn't even read it or consider it. So, and when you read it, if you read the brief itself and or listen to what Rick's presentation, you will see why the Court of Criminal Appeals didn't want to consider it, because it proves or disproves everything that they claimed about the DNA in this case. So yeah, when people start talking to me about the DNA, I'm just like, it was in the inside zipper of his pants. Well, there's a lot more to it that you don't know. That's a part of the thing with.
There's a ton of it they don't know.
Well, and that's just part of, listening to mainstream media, reporting, and there was evidence, of the 17-year-old girl on the inside of his zipper of his pants. Yeah, there was, but the amount of DNA is so insignificant that it actually, well, it was so minuscule that it should have been considered inconclusive, number one. Number two, in my mind, proves that DNA that was on his zipper of his pants was from secondary touch DNA. So that's my belief.
We need to show that Dr. Crane's demonstration again with Michelle Malkin.
Yeah.
That is really helps explain and demonstrate what you're talking about and how easily it can be transferred. Just from not even touching the person, but touching something that they touched.
Depending on what they touched, yeah, it's very easy to get touch DNA, secondary touch DNA.
And he
Yeah.
had just went through this girl's purse that night because he had stopped him and there was a fight or something between her friends, and so
Right. Well, the first when he first encountered Adara Gardner was with the two friends, Chocolate and Face, I believe were her friends' names. And
That sounds right. Yeah.
yeah, he actually handcuffed all three of them. And then that was when he went through Adara's bag or purse or whatever it was that day. And then, saw her walking alone late at night again later that day. And that was when he picked her up and drove her home because he was, I'm not even there was a very logical reason for why he did that, that I'm not going to try to get into now because we'll cover Adara, the teenager, in another live stream. But yeah, the way that was presented in trial was just completely wrong. And they the Elaine Taylor, testified at trial that there was no male DNA. Daniel's DNA was not found
Except
in the
it was.
samples, but it
Except
was.
it was.
And that there was I'm trying to think of how else it was. Anyway, yeah. So that's a really good video to go back and watch it. Get your hands on it on the channel and watch. It was probably early of 2025 that we did that. Very informative, and it teaches you a lot more than what the mainstream media was telling about the DNA during that time. But yeah, we'll definitely be covering that again as well. And like I said, the next live stream that we have coming up, we're going to talk about two other individuals whose names I think came up once during the trial, but I can't remember for sure because it's been a long time since I've read those parts of the transcripts. But names that were never really considered as possible alternatives.
I don't think Alex Edwards was, because I think his troubles were revealed afterward.
Right.
And
right.
I don't know
You're
if
right.
Jeff Sellers was mentioned in trial, but I know he was briefly looked at in the investigation.
Or they claim. So they claim, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. The other one was happened in 2016. So, but we're gonna do a live stream about that. It'll be our next one, talking about these two individuals. Just for people to listen to the information we have and think about it, consider it. You make your own decisions about it. So, it should be informative for you. And then, kind of separately, I mean, the three of us haven't really been able to have a conversation together. Holidays and all those things, and Rick jumping out of airplanes, and Cherie, working.
I've only done that about 160, 170 times since our last show.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, I had to take 6 weeks off because I partially dislocated my right kneecap at one point in time and had to wait for it to heal.
Yeah. So he took some time off from jumping out of airplanes. Makes no sense to me, but okay. Oh my gosh. I know it's a big thrill for a lot of people.
Anybody interested, there's the link to that breakdown of dear Lord, it was almost 5 hours. Wow.
Oh, was it? Yeah. I know it was a long time, but it was so informative.
4 hours, 50 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Just listen to it in small doses, okay? But it's definitely worth the time, however long that time takes you to get facts about the DNA in the case. So, I knew it was long. I didn't know it was that long, but it was so interesting and informative that I knew we're going to stop. So, for sure. So that's in the pipeline. I know that we still, I promised a entire series of just police reports, trial or preliminary and trial testimony readings. We had started that early last year. Listen, my friends and people that I love and care about, they're all normal people and they all have real lives and families and, jobs. Unlike me. I mean, I have a real life and I have a family, but I'm retired and, I could read, transcripts all day long. But, the guys that have been helping me, they're really busy. And, but like Cherie told me several times in the recent past, I don't care if it's just me and her reading. She's wants to get right back on it. And I agree. I mean, I've listened to attorneys, Robert for one, Joe,
Robert, that's where you mentioned Daniel at when we were on the same stream together. It was Robert's show.
I am sure it was in Robert's chat. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how
I've been sitting here this whole time trying to remember what show it was. It was
Robert.
I'm
sorry. Yeah, I know it was Robert's for sure. And we must have been, and Jennifer's also really good about, anytime we talk about wrongful convictions, I'm always, hashtagging free Daniel Holtzclaw or something. And, Jennifer always hashtags it. And, so you guys have been great supports. I know that Jennifer is available to help us read during a specific window of time on Sundays. And so we'll get back to it. But, even if it's just a few of us reading different, voices or different individuals in the trial or the transcript, we're just going to do it. And getting it out there and reading it all for you and making it all public is really all that matters. I have a bad habit of dealing with. What happened?
Jonah doing math. 5 hours at 1.5 speed is only 4. And
thanks for that. Thanks for the math, Jonah. Appreciate that. I don't know if I've ever listened to Rick on 1.5 speed. I'm pretty sure I haven't.
You know what?
You
can always count on Jonah when you need a laugh, to just at the right moment say something that gives you one.
Yep, that's for sure. And they're usually pretty, even though they're humorous, they're also pretty logical most of the time too. So sometimes they're just purely for laughs, that's for sure. So that's kind of what's in the pipeline. I do have another small clip that I'm working on to upload from somebody else, somebody else's testimony, deposition testimony. I'm working on that, and I will hopefully be getting that uploaded this week. And again, now that I know how to do it through YouTube, I'll just upload it through YouTube. I can't, unless I want to do a premiere. I mean, I could do a premiere of it, which we could also do. I mean, Cherie and Rick and I can talk about that, but we could do a premiere of that clip and just, or show it. I don't know. I kind of like the way we did this one. I uploaded the clip, waited a few days, let some comments roll in, let people think about it, and then get on live stream and kind of break it down for you. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, things are very random with me in my thought process. So, that's just the way it is. And it'll work or it won't.
Out? No. Never.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's part of what makes you guys love me. Part of me, it's a part of me that makes you guys love me so much. I'm sure of it.
Oh, by the way, Rhonda.
Yes?
depending on contract negotiations, I may be in your area in June.
Really? You
Yes,
better keep me
there's
updated.
a new billiards league that is going to be doing an event in Salt Lake City, and the referees are currently negotiating a contract to work it.
Rick, you have to tell me. You have to keep me updated. I will
I
drive to Salt Lake City.
If I am there, you better believe it. You think I'm gonna be that close to you and not let you know I'm there? I have no desire to die, thank you very much.
I'm so much more fun in person. You guys, I think I'm a riot on a live stream. Wait till you see me in person. Cherie, am I right?
She's right.
Oh gosh. Oh
Sheree, the
man,
thought
yeah.
of you and Rhonda driving around Oklahoma City all that time ago, checking out different locations together, still just scares the hell out of me.
We had a
We
good
didn't
time.
actually drive, but we rode around
Well,
and had a
yeah,
lot.
somebody drove us, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a lot of laughing that couple of days, that's for sure. You know, many of you don't know this about Cherie and I, but we've also spent a good amount of time together, 2 different times in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, driving around and checking out crime scenes and
I used to
making
do an event there.
in Manitowoc
Yeah, I used to do a
for,
Wisconsin State event there for a
oh, really?
amateur league. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, listen, your best event, if it comes through, is going to be the one in Salt Lake City, because you're going to get to meet me, and you're going to be so glad you did. Look at him smile. Oh, I think he's kind of excited about it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Cherie and I, we had become very close just online, and then when we met each other for the first time in Wisconsin, it was like we had known each other like in person our entire lives, and that's how she became my soul twin sister, because she's older than me, but still born in the month and thing. Her birthday is just 2 days before mine. And so, I mean, just everything, we clicked on everything. And then, her husband also came with us. He did all the driving. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. And yeah, that's a whole other, that might be a Sassy Gemini
Husband,
channel
please tell me
thing.
you got hazard pay for that.
Jim was a great sport. He was such a good sport. He, both times in Wisconsin and in Oklahoma. I, yeah, Cherie, I gained a great affection for Jim. I believe it was on the second Wisconsin trip. We were, I can't remember all the details about it. Cherie's better at it, but all I know is that Cherie and I obtained nicknames of Thorn 1 and Thorn 2, and I I nicknamed her husband Rose, and Cherie and I were both the thorns.
That's because we did a picture and he was in the middle.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We had a picture of us, and he was standing between she and I, and yeah, so we had so much fun, and he is such a great sport. But listen, even more so than him being a great sport, his crash outs were phenomenal. And when he would start crashing out, then Cherie would start crashing out, and I would just be sitting in the back seat going, hitting my vape like constantly, like, oh shit. But then it just got entertaining. That second trip to Wisconsin was just like sit back and enjoy the entertainment, because it was so fun. harmless. They were having, normal everyday, whatever conversations about driving and, how fast or how slow or directions or whatever. I was just, listen, I'm going to make this the last little story. When we were in Wisconsin, the last time we went to Wisconsin, we rented a car, and a brand new car, and it's got an amazing, like, completely up to date. I think this was in 2021 or 22. Cherie would have to, she knows better, but
I can't remember.
yeah, it was early 20s. But this car had the car was brand new, very few miles on it. And it had an amazing navigation system in it. And we're driving around for days, and Cherie's trying, using her phone, Google Maps in the front seat, and telling Jim, okay, it says, and then they would just have these little crash outs together about, well, you didn't say this, you said, but it just all harmless. And to me, funny. To me, it was all funny. And at some point, I finally said, why the hell are you guys not using the navigation system in this car? Then Cherie doesn't have to say a word. Jim can just glance down at the screen and see it all for himself. But, so that last couple of days, I think I finally convinced Cherie to use that navigation system, and it did help a little, but it was still funny because Jim would say, well, I missed whatever he would say. And I would say, just look at your navigation screen. Just look at the screen. It's right there in front of you. Just look at the screen. So anyway, those are all just personal fun stories.
From Tennessee to Oregon one time. A couple that runs a promotion company for pool tournaments. And we were headed to Lincoln City, Oregon. Their son, Kenny, came down to Tennessee and picked me up. Took me up to Indianapolis, and we left from there. And I was the second driver in the car that Kenny was taking. Had to take two cars because you could put all the printers and laptops and everything to run the tournament desk in the vehicles and drive out there. And I got punch drunk.
You got punched?
I got punch drunk. I got tired, and I got punched.
Oh!
So while Kenny was in a Love's truck stop getting coffee, I got into the car's navigation system and turned the little emblem from a vehicle to a cowboy riding a horse.
Nice.
I told it to avoid all toll roads and bridges and ferries. And then I changed the voice from the standard US voice to an Australian woman.
How fun! I love it.
Eventually, down the road, we got to a point where the car, according to the navigator, could not go any farther than where we were based on the things I told it to avoid while he was inside. So the guy on the horse just stopped, and the horse sat down in the middle of the highway on the screen and wouldn't move.
Oh my gosh. I'll bet that caused a lot of hysterical frustration.
His mom and dad thought it was funnier than hell. Kenny, not so much at the time.
That's easy for me to say as the backstreet driver over here.
Well, you got to understand, I did that, and then I got in the back seat of the car and I went to sleep. It was his turn to drive. That was why we stopped.
Oh my
I was
gosh,
crashed
that's
out.
so funny. hence you not seeing and hearing the comedy in it. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Oh hell. Well, I'm sorry, everybody who is viewing this now or views it later. I apologize. Yeah, this has just been the last 20 minutes or so of us kind of, telling little fun personal things. So you know, you don't have to listen if you don't want to, but it's fun for us. So,
Get to know us
but like
better. You might like us more.
yeah, you might exactly. You might just come back just for the humor and other you know, live streams. So yeah, we're pretty funny group, that's for sure. You know, when the times are appropriate. So but yeah, so that will be the next live stream. I'm not going, I'll just say within the next couple of weeks, because I don't know, it's going to take a little bit of time for me for Cherie and I and whatever information Rick has, you know, to, you know, put our information together about what we want to talk about with those other two individuals that I think is really something that never gets talked about, but is all public information that I think is worth at least presenting and letting people think about. And I'll just kind of leave that at that, because that's, other than that, I don't want to give, like I said, too much information away about it. I don't know why, but just being cheeky, I guess. But, and then, you know, like we did mention, we will, I know Jennifer has mentioned before that she's available still, you know, during her windows of time for reading. And, listen, Cherie and I used to read transcripts before on a different content channel, and you know, we would read sometimes 2 or 3 people that would be a part of that transcript that day would get together and record, and then whoever else was supposed to be a part of it, you know, on other day, you know, couldn't make it at the same time. We would all just record at different times, and then the person who was putting it all together would splice it all together, and it would be just fine. The only reason we haven't really done that or agreed to do that, like, you know, having Davey and Richard and Scott included, is just because, you know, we were kind of having fun with, you know, the interactions that we would have that I would edit out, you know, while we were recording. So, but we'll still get that done. And like Cherie had said to me many times, even if it's just her and I that's reading and recording, you'll still get the information and the content, and that's really what's important. So, and I know Rick,
Translation, we needed to go back and edit out from Rick's Rhonda went squirrel blog.
I can't remember which one that was. I know I need to go do that.
That's actually what I labeled it on the top of my legal pad, where I kept track of the times into the recording. I wrote Rhonda's squirrel list.
I remember that now, because I think you kept the timestamps for me so I could edit them.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, because I do squirrel out a lot in those transcripts. I get like, you know, I read something and I'm just like, that's not true, and I just go nuts and you know, have to rein myself back in, and then just having fun with Jennifer correcting Richard and Davies reading and enunciation and pronunciations, and you know, different things was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
And
So
we should mention before we stop, for those who know Rich and Off-Label Podcast, please, prayers to his father-in-law. His father-in-law had an accident and was
yes,
rushed to the hospital, so Rich wasn't able to do his show the other night. Let's keep Dad in thoughts, please.
yeah, absolutely, 100%, 100%. You know, we're different. We're like different sides of the same family, and you know, I have a great affection and sisterhood, brotherhood relationship with many people in off-label podcasts. So, and Richard and his family are certainly, you know, at the center of that. And so absolutely sending my prayers for Richard, and just Dawn, who was here earlier in the very beginning. Again, she lost her mom just a few days ago. And so, you know, our prayers are with her too. You know, I mean, it's hard. These are hard times of the year. Any time is hard, but there are certain times of the year when loss and suffering is more difficult, and this is certainly one of those times.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that reminder as well, Rick. Appreciate that. Okay, this has been fun. and hopefully informative. Hopefully the folks that watched the clip and made their comments about what a racist bitch I am and other things, and how I'm blatantly wrong about dash cams and the like. Hopefully has watched it and do a little more research um, before you make claims that you don't really have the facts about. I can tell when people have gotten their information from mainstream media or, just words around town or whatever, because they're usually partially true. If they use the word and or but they maybe, but a lot of the rest of the content around those words are not true or not accurate. So hopefully some of those people have listened to or will listen to this and maybe take a second look and open their mind. Just open your mind a little bit. It just takes a little bit of an open mind and get off of the damn TV news. Get off of legacy news. Stop, because they're not being honest and truthful with you about it, about this case, about a lot of cases. They have their motives, and they're usually about money and using a story or fabricating or creating a story that is going to be titillating and sensationalized or sexualized or vilifying. And the more of that they can put in their content, the happier they are. So let's see, I have a note here from Jonah, a comment. He says the father-in-law broke a few ribs, but the collapsed lung was not found home after overnight observation. That's good news. That's good news to hear. Thank you for sharing that, Jonah. Okay, any final comments, Cherie? I know I said it all, but I'd love to hear your voice.
It was interesting discussion. Thank you. Thank you for everybody joining us. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. I don't know if it's a grandbaby I can hear in the background or if it's Rose, but regardless.
It's Rose making supper.
Hello, Rose. It's so great to hear you cooking again.
Again, still.
Still? Yeah, I know.
Rhonda just mentioned a lot of times it's about money. There's something I don't think I've mentioned on this particular podcast before. There was a law in 2013 that was passed by the Oklahoma legislature where prosecutors make extra compensation through fees for people they have convicted to monitor their probation.
Oh, really?
Anybody know that? Yeah.
The prosecutors get to monitor it?
The prosecutors get paid to monitor that somebody convicted is following their probation.
Wow. Wow. I'm telling y'all, Corruptahoma. It's Corruptahoma. I just don't know how they've passed some of the laws that they have and get away with the bullshit that they get away with, but they do. And so, whenever we find out about it, whenever Rick brings new information to us about it, we're going to talk about it, because it's weird. This channel is created to discuss the wrongful conviction of Daniel Holtzclaw, but the bigger picture of it all is the corruption in Oklahoma, and specifically not just Oklahoma City and other surrounding cities. It's bad, but it seems like it's well hidden corruption, I guess.
Well,
I don't
it's
know.
not so well hidden anymore. The state of Oklahoma in general, prosecutors in at least legal news are becoming the new Florida man.
Oh, really? Yeah,
If there's
I'm
a
not
really
surprised.
stupid story about a prosecutor doing something dumb, it's out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, good, good. Bring it out, but put all the sunshine on it. I'm all about doing that. Oh, do they get a goon squad? I don't know. Maybe, probably. I'm sure. Gosh, it's
Well,
just
no,
frustrating as
it's
hell.
the way that particular law works, Jonah, is the prosecutors don't get paid directly by the person that was convicted. What happens is the prosecutors get paid a certain amount per person they refer to the probation department post conviction. So it's a referral fee.
God, like they're not. Oh, never. Yeah, that's a. We could go another
So
2
no, the
hours on the whole
prosecutor
subject.
themselves are not actually monitoring this person, but they get paid a referral fee for referring them to the
Referring it.
probation department.
There's just way too much money being handed to a legal kickback. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, of course. But it's blatant. It's a blatant legal kickback. It's like apparently in the law in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was
God,
passed in 2013.
wow, that's insane. Insane. Just completely illogical in my mind. But
No. Now, I don't know what it's like in New York, but I know in a number of states, even if you're incarcerated, you are referred to the probation department for a pre-sentencing evaluation. So whether you're incarcerated or not, you're still referred to the probation department, which means they are getting a referral fee on 100% of the people they are convicting.
yeah,
Yeah, we have that too.
yeah.
The probation department does the PSI.
PSI, yeah. Yeah, and I guess I never really thought about it in that way. But wow, to put it in the law, specifying it, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I just, yeah, I
I'm not a
do a
lawyer
lot of
either,
thinking.
but I have become very fascinated by law and I've done a lot of studying of law. And please don't ask me for legal advice because I am nowhere near qualified. But I do believe I understand it a little bit better than the average person.
Oh, I know you do. I can tell just by the, your comments and stuff. So yeah, certainly. I mean, I'm not nearly as well read as and studied as Rick is, but with all the work that we've done, just on Daniel's case alone, I feel like I have a fairly, excuse excuse me, a fairly good understanding of how basically, courtrooms and trials and law and language of laws and things like that. I have a pretty good understanding of how, and it's kind of hard to say because, all states and even counties really are different. They have their own, but, it's not hard to learn the little nuances of some of those. And, for instance, watching, both Karen Reed trials, for instance, just wow. So again,
Yeah,
when I talk
that
about this,
was
just
that was the
insanity.
first time I'd actually dealt with a case in Massachusetts like that where I followed along with it and I'm like, oh man.
Constant brain bleed, right? Oof, yeah,
It it
it
it
was.
was almost like a reboot of the OJ trial, to be honest with you, with all the sidebars and off the
Yep,
record stuff, and it's just like,
yeah. Those sidebars have been released, I guess, and some of the LawTube channels are reading through them.
I
Oh
had
gosh, his
heard
name
they'd
just
been released. I have not actually heard any of them read yet.
Runkle has read through some of them. I listened to a couple of nights of Runkle reading through some of them. Uh, not loophole, yeah, some of them have been reading through them. I haven't been following them too much though. I'm more interested in the sidebars with the second trial than I am the first trial. So
Yeah, the
those are
second
the
trial.
ones
I don't care about the sidebars in the first trial,
yeah,
to be perfectly honest with you. What I am very interested in is all of them from the second trial.
yeah. There was more corruption, I believe, my opinion, in the second trial. Well, attempted corruption in the second trial than there was the first trial.
Yep.
Um, what that?
Well, look at
Yeah,
all the
he was
information that came out about the people investigating between the first and the second one.
right. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We've done one Karen Reed show. I was working on a second show live stream about before all of that started coming out. That was going to be, centering around Proctor, and then branching off with all the other people connect. It has exploded.
Mhm.
Then there's no way I could possibly do what I was going to do 6 months ago on the connections, because the thumbnail was literally a big picture of Proctor's bald, vile head, and then the smaller heads around him who were connected. And I can't even do that anymore. Like, I could never make a thumbnail that would fit all of the dirty people anymore, because there's so many that are being exposed now.
Well, you
So
could, but you would have to creatively maneuver them into a position where the individual pictures created a face of some type.
yeah, yeah,
Have you ever seen those artworks where they take pictures of like 1,000 people and arrange the picture so it
yeah,
looks like somebody? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's what we'd have to do for Proctor. I think Proctor. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know who the bad guy is anymore in that whole thing. It used to be
And I
Proctor. Now it's
swear the prosecutor from the special prosecutor in the second Karen Reed trial is genetically related to Giger. The same nasal, whiny
yeah,
voice. I
yes,
swear they share DNA in their past somewhere.
yeah. Oh, I know. It was just listening to him speak every day was torturous for sure. Now we don't get to hear Giger other than, like, the one video that I did, that I showed the presentation that he did. But we don't get to hear Giger's voice, because, as we all know, Oklahoma doesn't allow cameras in their courtrooms for trials. So, but we've heard him, give interviews and different things, and his voice is just sickening to me. So, between Giger and God, his name just left my brain. Thank God. The prosecutor, special prosecutor for Karen Reed's second trial. Yeah, his
Yeah, I
voice
can't
just
remember his name.
Hank
what
Brennan.
Brennan,
Yes.
Brennan. Yeah. Oh golly. Ugh. His voice was almost the worst part. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no way now I could even try that. I mean, I know Melanie Little does, has done. I've watched a lot of what Melanie Little has read, and different things, and but I've honestly lost track of, after Proctor did those 2 days. Well, he didn't ever really speak that I can remember. But when he was trying to get his job back, and then his attorney is like, "No, fuck that.
Yeah.
I can't
You
defend
know
this
who
guy."
I absolutely loved from the second trial?
Alessi?
The female elderly forensic scientist who basically called the special prosecutor an idiot.
Yeah, Um,
Lada.
La Posada, yes. Yes.
I loved her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. She would, I can't remember now, but I mean, I know you guys are people who might still be listening or watch this later who watch that trial. They'll also, I was shocked. I was very pleasantly shocked, and I watching the trial by myself. I laughed out loud, and I was like, "Oh shit!" She just said that out loud to him.
Mhm.
It was epic and amazing.
That Brennan went into that thinking she was going to talk like any other expert state's witness he had ever had on the stand, and she wasn't that.
Nope. Yep. Not at all. Not at all. She was like, "Nah, nah." And then
Every
also,
law school should have a video of that they play to the students as a classic example of don't ask a question you don't know the answer to.
yep. But he also offended completely, and well, he just was an asshole to everybody, really, but to all of the state or to the defense witnesses. But the dog bite expert, she was, come on, Sheree. What was her name?
I missed your description. What?
The dog bite expert.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
not La Posada, but
Is it Ruth? I don't know. Dr.
I can't remember.
Bite Mama. That's what they called her.
Bite Mama.
I can't remember
Yeah.
the name either, but she just absolutely decimated him.
Yep. He called her something or said something about her. Basically, I kind of feel like I vaguely remember him basically calling her a liar, and she was like, "Oh, Mr. Brennan, how could you dare say something like that to me?" And I was just like, "Good for her."
Making
He was
fun of
just
her, like mentioning, "Oh, are you having memory problems?" Like, referring to
Yep, that's right. That's what it was. And she was just, she was beside herself. And listen, he was just a dickhole to all of the defense witnesses. So
that's the new trick with police officers. These people that just don't talk to them.
It was Dr. Marie
Russell. It's like, are
Marie,
you having mental issues? Do we need to call the paramedics no, I'm just not talking to you. I don't have to.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Marie, what was the last name again, Cherie?
Russell.
Russell. Yes, yeah. Marie Russell. Those two women, Brennan was the biggest dickhole to those two women, especially. And the whole thing that he did with the crash, the second crash, Daddy, doctor. Anyway, the whole ham sandwich thing. I was like, oh my gosh. Rexler. Yeah. It was a ham sandwich. I think I was watching in Emily D. Baker's chat that morning, and everybody was Emily D. Baker stops and she's like, making fun of Brennan. Did you order a dill pickle? What are we having with our ham sandwich today? Some chips? Are we going to get some chips? How about a pickle? Are we getting a dill pickle today? Because Brennan was just being such an ass.
I wasn't in Emily's chat during that. I think I was in Danny's chat.
Oh.
Danny.
Danny. Oh, yeah. She lives up here in Salt Lake or Ogden.
Yeah, I think I was in her chat during that. But yes, I remember that exchange.
Yeah. Oh, good times. It's we have a trial. It's not going to be as entertaining. I shouldn't say that entertaining, but there were a lot of parts of both Karen Reed trials, especially the second one, that were just like obnoxiously entertaining. but we do have another trial coming up here in Utah in February, or the end of, I think it's the end of January, beginning of February. The Corey Richards trial. Some of
I think that's scheduled to start like February 3rd,
yeah,
4th. It's
early
one
in the
I'm
month of
paying
February.
attention to.
Yeah. Oh, that one. It's not getting a lot
The
of
5th. I
attention.
think it's Monday the 5th
Okay.
is when it's scheduled to start. Pending
That
any
is.
decisions between now.
Yeah. Well, there's been so much roadblocking, whatever, however I want to say that, by the defense. And the defense attorney, so they wanted to make that initially they were talking about the death penalty for that case, but because of she still has 3 young living children who she is not allowed to have contact with, Corey Richards, that is, they took the death penalty off the table. I believe that was the reason. But anyway, that trial is going to be wild. It's not getting a lot of attention right now, and that's too bad, because it's going to be a wild trial. And it's Park City or Summit County is only about 40 miles northwest or northeast of me. It's going to be in the middle of winter, so I know I'm not going to be able to get up there. But I would love to be able to be in the court, in trial for some of those days, because oh boy, it's going to be crazy.
Oh. See, normally I would say I'll come pick you up and take you, but the only way I could get there in time and be able to go between your house and where the courtroom is at would be to go to the flying club and get a plane and fly out there. And you've already made
yeah.
a plane. You will not get into an aircraft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I had to for some sort of family emergency, I would, but I would have to be heavily drugged because I just,
Well, not only
too
am
many
I a
planes
private
falling out of the
pilot,
sky.
I'm a physician assistant. So surprisingly, we can do both at the same time.
It could work. Oh man, I know I mentioned it a long time ago in Recovery Addict, Scott's chat one time, because Scott from Recovery Addict is from Utah originally.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't know for a fact, but I believe he's a devout member of the LDS Church. I say that because of just I recognize the language and the the just the way he speaks, and his humor, and I'm not being disrespectful in any way, but the reverence, I guess you could say, that he expects in his chats, and just different things that he said, that I know, that I'm familiar with. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, when I mentioned it to him, at the time, this is when the trial was supposed to have been last summer, I think it was, before it got rescheduled again. I was planning to go to court, and he said, "Well, if you go, let me know, keep me updated, let me know what's going on." And then they changed the trial date and everything, and I'm just like, yeah, no. But anyway, so but yeah, we need to pay attention. And there's actually going to be 2 different trials for Corey Richards. One revolving around the murder of her husband, and then there's also going to be a financial crimes trial as well. I don't know what's going on with that one. That's secondary to the murder trial. But just the walk the dog letter coming into Corey Richards' trial is going to be a freaking circus. It's going to be wild. And
What about there's another one recently. They found that little girl. Wasn't that a Utah case?
yes, it's not a Utah case. I think it was a California case, but they found her body in southern Utah. Yeah, that little
Yeah.
gosh, Melody, I think is the little girl's name.
I think that's her name. I
Yeah.
knew Utah had something to do with it, but I couldn't remember which way it went.
Yeah, I think it's a California murder case, but she was finally discovered here in southern Utah. And, I just, because of the time that uh, missing child case started, I was in a pretty rough state of mind at the time, and I couldn't handle taking in any information about a little girl being lost, and eventually, assuming that, she would be found murdered. But so I didn't really pay a lot of attention to any of the details. And then when I found out she was found here in Utah, I just was like, oh my gosh. Not that it affects me or that, it's a Utah case, but it's just another tie to a tragic murder that I just I just don't want to hear about being, a part of my state in any way. Also, something about I wanted to mention too, I think that some people might find interesting, if for no other reason, about Corey Richard's trial. Her defense attorney is Kathy Nestor, and that's the same attorney appointed to Tyler
Really?
Robinson. Yep, I know. So,
Wow.
if for no other reason, if you're curious or interested in the Tyler Robinson trial that will be happening eventually, pay attention to Corey Richard's trial because it's the same defense attorney. So, and listen, I didn't
That's
like
the first
her.
I've heard that. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, yep. And I really don't I don't take in a lot of information about the Tyler Robinson case because, I'm literally part of the jury pool here. And so I try not to, once that kind of clicked in my brain, I was like, oh, so I do listen to some things, but not very much because it's impossible for anybody here to not know stuff about that case, that assassination. But at the same time,
It's
because,
impossible for anybody in
yeah,
the world at this
yeah,
point not to know something
right,
about it unless you're like one of the pygmies in Central and
right.
South America or interior of
don't
Africa
don't
that
have
has
any
no
access to it. Yeah,
electronics.
yeah. So, but I do listen to something sometimes. I get really defensive. I had a major crash out a month or so ago in one of Robert's chats when people, he was talking about Tyler Robinson's case, and my opinion about the whole thing is so much different than everybody else's. And anyway, and so anyway, at some point, I just thought, maybe I shouldn't take part in, and so a lot when Robert, if something happens with Tyler, and like they just had a hearing recently last week on his case, I didn't listen to it or anything. I just thought, it's impossible that, to find anybody who wouldn't know, but
Yeah, but if you're
more I
potentially
can
part of the
shield myself from
jury
it.
pool, that's a
Yeah.
smart move.
So yeah, I
That's
try
a
not to
smart move.
pay. I'm downloading all of the court filings and everything else that's being, that gets released. I'm downloading all of it, but I'm not reading any of it.
Yeah, good luck
Just because.
explaining that one to the judge if you get called.
Yeah,
Have you
well, yeah,
acquired any information about this case? Oh, yeah, Your Honor, I've downloaded all of it, but I haven't read
I
it yet.
well, I haven't. Just downloaded it for later after the trial, or if I don't get called, you never know. Yeah, you make a good point. Maybe I should not download anything else. But anyway,
What was that character on The West Wing? The blonde.
I don't know, but I just barely put that show in my Netflix list to start watching.
Donna, she had gotten called for jury duty and she went to talk to one of the president's advisors that was an attorney, and she went, how can I get out of jury duty? And he asked her a hypothetical question, and her response was, "Well, you were arrested by police. You're being prosecuted by police, so I assume you're guilty." And he looked at her and
Oh.
went, "Yeah, you're going to jail."
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's funny. I need to start watching it. I haven't watched it. I've heard it's a great series though, so I'm going to start
It
watching
is.
it.
It's actually a very good series.
And it's not like, from what I understand, it's not all 100% serious all the time, and
No,
there's some witty
the
humor occasionally.
fictional president of the United States at one point in time in that series calls the Butterball Hotline.
The
It's a
Butterball
Thanksgiving
Hotline.
it's a Thanksgiving episode, and yes, Butterball does have a hotline. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. It's oh man. That's funny. Yeah, I maybe I'll start watching. I have to just kind of, yeah, I'll have to start watching it. I need a new good series that I haven't watched already 5 times, and watch something new. So anyway, oh my goodness. I haven't ever done really any videos or live streams where I've like made chapters for the content because to my detriment and disagreement from others, I don't really follow a
Jennifer, it's I also was a fan of Martin Sheen. If you decide to watch it, I will warn you right now, he's not the crazed individual that he is now. He actually does a very good job with the character. It's actually very entertaining, and surprisingly for a political show, it's very down the middle.
oh good.
It's not
That's
like the
good.
modern skewed political shows
That's
we
awesome.
see now. It's actually very down the middle, and it really is a good show.
I watched a series a couple of times on Netflix. It was a Netflix original called Madam Secretary that
Mhm.
I really enjoyed, and it's not on Netflix anymore, but it was really good, and it was more middle of the road and stuff. So but I missed that because I watched that like 3 different times just because I was
Yeah.
learning new stuff about foreign policy and stuff. It was really interesting to me. So
Yet, Jennifer, no, it's really that there's no agenda. There is an agenda, but the agenda in The West Wing is there are times when you have to know you compromise, and you may not always get what you think you should get,
like life.
which is the way it should work,
Right.
as
Yeah.
opposed to what we have now, where people just scream and turn purple and jump up and down and go, "No, I won't let you have that."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll have to figure out, even if I don't make any chapters, like, timestamps for this video, I will definitely go in and put in, the time where we just started talking randomly about just stuff so that people who don't want to listen to us just having our own little private public conversation, funny stories and whatnot, they'll know where to stop listening. But for those who, are interested in other people's silliness or drama or, thoughts and opinions about just random things, you can keep listening too. So, but I will cut us off at this point and just, do some research, ask us questions. The Discord, like I said before, it's not as active as I would like it to be. That's nobody's fault. It just, there's just not enough people really interested in the case that, I mean, there's a lot of people in the Discord, but nobody is asking questions or talking about Daniel's case or anything. And, so, which is why it was kind of created in the beginning. But, you can always tag me or Rick or Cherie in Daniel's Truth anywhere if you have a question about something. There's a lot of documents in there that on Daniel's case that, if you are interested in getting some of the legal documents from the case, go check that out. Rick has organized all of that. And,
Well, and I'm
know,
getting ready to do more. I haven't
okay.
talked to you and Cherie about it yet, but I'm actually thinking about making a referral section where new stuff that comes up that people hear about that they would like to know more about on a wrongful conviction case, so they
Okay.
can go into that area and go, "Hey guys, could you take a look at this?"
Right. Okay.
And
Perfect. I love that.
we can start digging into it. And,
Right.
um, I'll probably do that under the other category that's in there, but I think I want to make that a section and not an actual channel.
Okay.
So
Hey,
we can
whatever
do referral and then start adding a dedicated channel to that particular
yeah.
case.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great idea. I, and we'll talk about it. We'll keep talking about it on the live streams too. But I think that's a great idea. I mean, because there's, yes, we still have, we have all of Daniel's, case to recover, of course, and the transcripts and stuff. But at the same time, unless, until we get new information, there's really no new information coming out about, the case. I don't think that's going to, I think that will change eventually, but I have no idea.
Well,
And
the whole reason I want to do it that way, sweetheart, is because I don't want to distract from the main mission of the server and what it was originally set up for. And
right.
that's
No,
to
yeah.
support Daniel. But there are other things that we can look at during the law period. God, I hate using that term, but that's basically what it is.
Right. Yeah.
Of new things happening with Daniel to cover other things.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, yeah. There's lots going on, lots of crazy
Mhm.
trials and wrongful convictions, that we can talk about for sure. So, yeah. And however you want to set that up, you have, that is yours to do with what you see fit because
No, 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 no,
you
no,
know
no,
how it
no,
works.
no, no, no. I
Well,
know
you
how
know
to
what I
do
mean.
that stuff, but it is your server. It
I
is yours
understand.
and Cherie's server. I'm just a helper there, so I'm not gonna make a major change like that without talking to you guys.
Oh, sure. I know that. I just mean, once we discuss a thing and we, decide, like this one that you just said is a great idea, then you fix that how you know it needs to go. That's my point. That's all I mean. So, okay. It's been much longer. It's been like an hour and a half longer than I planned, but you know what? That's just how we roll, especially me when I'm speaking for two Geminis. I got a lot to say. So, we'll let you go. We'll come back, within the next couple of weeks with this other topic that we wanted to kind of present to everybody. And, we're just going to go from there. So thank you to everybody who is still here. And, in just listening to us ramble on about stuff. And, I kind of felt like I just had to go with it because the three of us haven't had a verbal conversation in many months. So it's kind of nice for me, for sure, and to hear their voices. And so, but you'll get the notification. There will be another upload coming out, like I said, sometime this week. That won't be a premiere or anything. It'll just be a video upload for you to take a listen to. And share your thoughts and comments about. If you feel like going into the comment section from the last little deposition clip I posted and commenting back to anybody, listen, it's a comment section, it's public. I don't delete stuff. You're welcome to say whatever whatever on your mind to say in response or as a original comment. So, but listen, you guys, until the next time, thank you all so much for being here, for supporting Daniel, and Happy New Year to everybody, and prayers for all of our friends who are hurting and suffering and experiencing loss in these days, these last few weeks. So until next time, peace out.